everyone, welcome to the C3 Comic Show. Let's get you some news. The Deadpool movie began shooting today, and recently, Morena Baccarin was cast in the movie. We assume the love interest. I did apply, as you know, but due to a certain restraining order, I am not allowed to be in any film with Ryan Reynolds. Or Chuck E. Cheese. Word going around the water cooler is that the cast members of the new Fantastic Four movie have been told not to read too much of the old comic books. They don't really want to get them to know the characters. Fox is looking to make their own version of the Fantastic Four. This is also known as the Tim Burton method of comic book movie making. Now, for an honest, in-depth discussion on a very sensitive subject of a comic book cover, here's me and Mike with a nice little chat. Alright everybody, this is another C3 Conversations. So I'm standing here with Mike, and this one I felt like was a little bit more important than just to breeze over with a joke. I don't know, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal.
Right.
I don't really know how to put it. But I like to express my feelings about it, which is obviously it's the Batgirl variant cover that has been pulled by the artist. But number one, I don't know, Mike, lead me off.
You know, personally, I can understand the artist listening to the internets. There was a lot of kickback from this that I definitely didn't expect. Some valid points being made. Personally, I thought that it fits in perfect. I believe this is going to be coming out in June, which is going to be Joker variant month. Something tells me that that's not going to be the most controversial Joker cover to come out of the deal. And on one end, I do understand where people say, hey, it's a variant, you have that choice. If you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. Another valid point was, target audience right now. They are pushing Batgirl towards, they want the young female reader.
Yep.
And I can understand, like, giving them a variant, give them a variant that might be catered more towards that audience, and then maybe leave the Albuquerque variant, maybe make that a 1 in 300 or something like that. Make it a retailer exclusive, something that a kid walking down the aisle, at his local comic shop isn't going to go, oh, what's that all about?
Yeah.
But given the history of the character, I personally thought it was great. I can understand the timing of it being a little wrong, maybe, but it's Joker month. Like I said, I mean, what do you think his Nightwing variant's going to look like?
Well, I think they showed his, isn't his Wonder Woman variant? Mm-hmm. They showed that already, and it's her basically passed out and him dancing with her.
Yeah.
So that's... Yeah. I think that's about as much as it kind of gives the same vibe. You know what I mean?
Joker's a bad guy.
I guess for me, number one, I think everybody needs to agree with me because you don't get an opinion. No, you do get an opinion. Just kidding. But I 100% respect the artist for not wanting to deal with it. Yeah. Totally his call. Nobody forced him to do anything. He just said, you know what? And I think he said in the statement that he wasn't intended to offend anybody. He just said, I don't want anything to do with, something like that. So, number one, I respect the artist not only for making it, but also for pulling it, for, being generous, I would guess, and being sensitive. Not generous, I'm sorry. That's the wrong word, Kyle. Being sensitive to his audience.
Right.
But number two...
Listen to the feedback, and there was a lot of...
Number two, way too much of an overreaction, I think, from people.
Yeah.
Once again, the internet has given a voice to everybody, and everybody uses that voice to whine and complain. I mean, open up the Killing Joke. That is much more offensive than that cover.
Right.
I mean...
Well, and that's what we were saying, where this cover contextually... It fits. It definitely, given his history, and if you have not read The Killing Joke, we highly suggest that you do. That's where that inspiration for that came from. Personally, like, like I said before, it bummed me out to see him completely cancel it. Because I think it is an awesome piece of artwork that does deserve to get published in some way, shape, or form. I thought it captured Killing Joke perfectly.
Yeah.
But definitely, given the current situation, like we said with Batgirl, it's like, hey, she's supposed to be this young, hip, innocent type of character. She's there to help the help the young ones in trouble, that type of thing. And yeah, it might be a little too heavy for.
Yeah. Yes. But also it's kind of weird to me because obviously you're going to get feedback with something like that. You're going to get people that are going to say that. I'm kind of shocked they didn't draw a line in the sand and say, hey, you know what, I'm sorry that people think this about it, but there's nothing about that cover that says that has anything to do with with rape. Nothing. Right. I mean, it's got. She looks terrified. I mean, it's a frightening cover. Mm-hmm. Once again, more of a bad marketing decision if you're going after young girls, because that cover does give you chills. Right. Just the look in her eyes, the fear in her eyes. Yeah. But once again, like I said, it doesn't look. Not giving off the one vibe, it gives more of a he's gonna kill her vibe more than anything.
Sadistic vibe.
Yeah, the sadistic vibe.
And it is something that it's with rape and things like that being a sensitive issue, and I can understand where like with Albuquerque saying, I'll withdraw this cover. I'm sorry if that's the vibe you get from it, then let's get rid of it. I myself, I'm kind of with you. I don't see it. As a person, I could maybe like if you have never in your life heard of the Joker, Batgirl, and you just saw that picture. If you show that picture to grandma, so, and I suppose obviously somebody drew that conclusion, right. And there was one that I was reading. It was like it had to do with the gun. Where it's just like, and the gun pointing down, symbolizing, it was like, whoa, what, that one, I was just kind of shaking my head, and it's like, no, the gun is there because he shot her,
right?
Like,
and they're looking for something to be offended by, I think, kind of.
And the story in itself, you don't need to add any more levels to the insanity that the Killing Joke already is,
right? So I guess to sum it up. We totally respect the fact that they pulled it. Obviously people can feel the way they want. Nobody wanted to give out that rapey vibe, but at the same time, it's art and it's subjective, I guess.
Right.
World changed. All right. Wow, I really had some good points there. Alrighty, Mike, give me some comic book picks.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Mike here with a couple picks for this awesome week in March. Kicking things off, Supergirl, wrapping up the Crucible storyline. It's her and Superboy against all their alien pals. Explosions just about every other page. Exactly what I'd expect out of a Supergirl comic. We'll see what happens to her when Convergence comes down. Up next, no controversy here, Batgirl. Purple Rain cover. The only thing that I can think of as far as a bad memory that this might instigate is fashion, but no controversy, like I said. Pick it up today based on the cover alone. Maybe it'll help sales this month. We also like to throw in Batgirl Endgame, which is a completely silent issue, which is different to see these days. Check that one out. They should be on the shelves right next to this guy. Up next, Batman and Superman. Look at that, DC Books this week. And again, this one, I've been a fan of this story arc for a while. It seems to be losing some steam. It's going to be wrapping up here soon. But needless to say, you can't go wrong with the Born Identity cover. And, it's Batman, Superman. Best of both worlds. Next up, the highly anticipated book from Mark Millar, Chrononauts. This is one of several different covers coming at us from Image Comics this week. They've been hyping this for a bit. Odds are that they'll sell out quick, so get to your shops as soon as possible. Get going. I believe there's 5 or 6 different covers going on, so pick accordingly. Up next from Image, My last pick for this week, Red 1. She is America's greatest superhero, but she's also a Russian spy. So anything can happen. We got a great team up here of Xavier Dorison, I apologize, and the Wonder Team of Terry and Rachel Dodson, who have the female form down pat. So far what I've read, I'm definitely digging it, loving the art style. It'll be interesting to see how far this one will go. Lastly, on the trade paperback side of things, for all you Rabbit Ninja loving readers out there, Usagi Yojimbo from Stan Sakai, Volume 2 picks up where Volume 1 left off, obviously, and brings us some of the best color work, some of the best stories that Stan had done, all in one fat volume. Volume 3 is due out in just a couple months, so you still have time. Pick one up. Don't put it down. That's all I've got for you this week. We'll see you guys at the shops.
Tasty.